Alright guys, so Maria here, and I am here to kind of tell you a little bit about glass cutting. Stained glass is such a gorgeous, fulfilling, beautiful medium. You must try it. You will not be disappointed with yourself. I mean, the colors and textures are unbelievable. So you can always find your style, your vibe, whatever it is, you can find it. There's so many amazing types of glass out there. I do suggest though, if it's your first time cutting glass, just go to a thrift store and get yourself some mirror. It's cheaper, you'll have more of it, and you won't feel as guilty blowing through all that glass. Because you will. You're going to break a lot of glass, but it'll be worth it once you get the hang of it. Alright, so the tools. There are 3 types of tools you're definitely going to want in your toolbox. There are these running pliers. These are nippers, and then there are glass cutters. Both of them have their own special, unique characteristics, which what makes them so important, which I'll talk about after. But glass cutters, I mean, they come in all different shapes and sizes. This is a pistol grip, and this is what I started out using. I loved her. She was faithful for me for years. Most of my stained glass friends use these ones. I did get grippers for it because I was just, I cut a lot of glass, so my hands were getting sore. Now what you're gonna see now is me totally just destroying what it looks like cutting with a pistol grip. It looks awful. I'm butchering this. It's much more smooth for everyone else, but it's actually been like 4 years since I've used one of these. So this was, I was laughing this whole time. Like here I am trying to show you how to cut glass and I'm just like struggling. But alright, so this is how it looks after you cut it. You're not cutting it all the way through. Your goal is not to like push through the glass and literally cut it. Your goal is to just score it. Just cause that white line that you saw there, and that scores it, and then you're going to tap it underneath and it's going to break off beautifully. It'll be the most beautiful sound that you hear as you get used to it. These are pencil cutters, and you hold them like a pencil. And there's so many different sizes. This is my favorite. This is my bae. She's heavy duty. She has this gorgeous weight on the end of her, and that really helps me run my score lines. They all come with reservoirs, which you're gonna just put oil in, and that'll help really lubricate your cutting wheel, because when you cut, you want to do it in one fluid motion. You don't want to start and stop and start and stop. It's like if you're gonna cut a straight line, you want to go all the way through. So this will help so that you don't kind of get stuck on anything. With the glass, there's always like a rougher side or a smoother side. You're gonna always cut on the smoother side. Even if both sides are textured, they will always be, at least a little bit of a smoother side. So with this, which this is my cutter, I do not cut it the way, they tell you to cut it with. I do it my own way, which I use 2 hands, and I love it this way. It really allows me to have control in the pressure that I put down, in the movements, and this is how I cut. Everyone always thinks it's crazy, but I think it's the best way. I definitely suggest trying it. And then once I get my score line, I always use this weight at the end, and that I just tap underneath. You always tap underneath the score line, not over it, and then it will, what you call, run your score line. And see, she just breaks apart. And this will be like such a smooth, buttery process once you get used to it. Sometimes you'll have kind of like rough edges like this, and you'll just use your grinder. So I kind of wanted to show you what the score line looks like. You can kind of see it better a little bit on the darker glass. And so it's just like a scratch on the surface. So you put like a medium pressure, and a lot of the times you can just break it apart with your hands, especially if there's straight lines. I love using the ball at the end of my cutter. I would say that's pretty much like 90% of what I use, is just, I just break it apart like that. And you become quite fast at it. But they have this beautiful tool that I think you must get. They're called running pliers, and they have this rubber on them with this line, and you just match the line up to your score line, and that's it. You just press it, and it's perfect, especially for large sheets of glass. It'll run your score line down the whole thing. And then you have these nippers, which come with a curved kind of side on them, which go on the bottom. And that also helps you kind of hold it with control and pull it apart. So there are like tons of ways to do it. But once you do it, you really get the hang of it. It becomes like, I mean, very relaxing process. You'll be able to just relax and cut some glass. So with the glass, like I said, you always want to work with the texture of your pieces. So you're gonna always have, like I said, the textured side. This glass here is awesome. I love it. It's icy. But since it's textured, I want to flip my pattern over because I want the texture to be on the front. So with the clear glass, of course, you can just set that over your pattern. But when you have colored glass, probably want to use something like a light box or a light pad. I'll link below everything I use. Not that much. I mean, pretty much just those 3 tools, and I have a little light pad that I use. I have a great time. So see, you can kind of tell how I use my 2 hands. I have so much more control, especially over the pressure that you use. Each glass that you're seeing here, they're different textures, so they're different thicknesses. So the one that's very smooth, like this one, you don't need that much pressure. So I use my nippers just to kind of break off the little pieces that I wouldn't be able to get with my hands or knock it off the ball of my cutter. And then once you have your pieces, if you have any rough edges or you want to kind of fit it to your pattern, if you're just going to take it to your grinder. I'm going to do different videos for each process so you can kind of like really see what it takes to kind of get a final project. You can absolutely achieve a beautiful piece with minimal tools. So I'm just making my mountain pieces here, and I pretty much only use my glass cutter and my nippers. The only time I truly use my running pliers is when I have kind of like a longer cut. Like if I have a straight line that's longer than like 6 inches, I'll use it because it really does give you a beautiful clean break. Or if I'm cutting my glass sheets and breaking them into smaller glass to kind of use them. I mean, you gotta at least try it once. And go to the thrift store, you know, get yourself a glass cutter, go to the thrift store and just kind of get the feel for it. Get some mirror, and I'm telling you, you'll be so proud of yourself. You'll be able to make such beautiful things once you get the hang of it. And yeah, so if you want to see more videos, or if there's something you want to see in particular, leave me a comment, say something nice. I don't know. I hope you enjoyed the video. But thank you for watching, and yeah, I'm excited to kind of really show you guys more into the process. You can make such beautiful things. You don't need that much to do it, and it is such a rewarding medium to work with. So give me a like, thumbs it up, or whatever, and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to follow on Instagram or Facebook, all those things, I will put them below, as well as everything I use.